Hi everyone, Father Scott Vanderveer here with a story about a sitcom that I once saw and how it affects my life right now. I once saw a funny episode of the hit comedy 30 Rock where Jack Donaghy, one of the main characters, is having to tell his mother that he is having a child to a woman he's not married to. And she, representing the viewpoint of many people of her generation, says to him, "You mean to tell me that I have to tell my friends at the retirement center that my son has just had a baby with a Protestant?" It was hilarious because, of course, everyone assumes that the scandal in his life is that he's not married. But the real scandal for that woman in her generation is that a Catholic and a Protestant would come together. Those kind of jokes are always very funny to me because I grew up with a father who was from a Presbyterian family. He converted to be Catholic, but not until after I was born. And I have close relationships with a lot of those Protestant family members. So to me, those old-fashioned ideas of Catholic and Protestant are amusing. They're worthy of chuckles. And that's why that 30 Rock episode was so funny. Well, I was recently on a trip with my former parishioners at St. Mary's Coxsackie and St. Patrick's in Ravenna, many of whom are watching this now. We just went on a trip to Ireland, which was absolutely beautiful. And one of the things that often will come up on a trip of Catholics traveling with a few friends who might be Protestant or non-practicing is the chance to jokingly talk about the kind of non-existent rivalry between Protestants and Catholics, saying, well, you know, her problem, she's a Protestant, or you know, his problem, he's a Catholic. And so I found myself making some of those very light, kind of harmless jokes. But suddenly I realized this actually isn't funny. It's not funny here anyway, because I was making those jokes in Ireland. And one of the things our tour guide, our wonderful tour guide Liz, helped us to know more about was about the conflict between the Northern Irish Catholics and the Northern Irish Protestants. We learned all about the Troubles, which stretched from the late 60s to the late 90s, and the 30 years of bloodshed that was all brought about by the division between those who liked England and those who liked Ireland, and between those who were Catholic and those who were Protestant. It, to us, to our ears, sounds so foreign. And yet, we learned that because Brexit is putting borders in Europe once again where they have been missing for a long time, there is renewed concern over the conflict that's possible in Northern Ireland over the need to perhaps have a wall built or at least a secure border on one island between people who are essentially brothers and sisters, cousins in their Irish heritage. It makes me realize that we are alive for a particular challenge in our times. We are alive for times in which people are very divided from those with whom they disagree. And we have to be honest that for a lot of us, that's been true for us as well. Many people do not wish to congregate or to spend time with others who disagree with them about important issues or have different identities. And so now, although the thought of a Catholic and a Protestant, two people who both not only worship the same God, but follow Jesus Christ as their leader and model and savior, it feels absurd that people would die. Thousands of people could die over those distinctions. But of course, division is like that. It's one of the reasons why we consider evil to be so connected with division, why the devil has often been called the prince of lies and of disunity. And we are at a time that we're very aware Americans are more divided than ever It's one of those things that can cause us to be afraid to even bring up certain topics in mixed company. I know that because we were in Ireland, several times our tour guide or someone who was giving us a tour at a facility would make a joke, would say a name like Biden or Trump. And you know what was interesting? All 35 of us would grow immediately silent. We wouldn't dare talk about politics right now. The stakes are way too high. Not only the stakes of harmony within the rest of the tour of the group, but also the friendships that go forward. We live in a time when disunity threatens our existence as a family. And it would be good for us to consider how disunity has always been associated with evil. So let us consider what it would take for us to be more unified with those with whom we disagree, and to find a way to steady our course forward so that we do not have to follow in the tragedy of Northern Ireland, but learn from the hard-fought lessons those people can teach us. May God bless and protect the beautiful island of Ireland and the two countries that occupy it. And may God bless us here in the United States and all over the world. Peace and all good be with you and with all, always.